Welcome back to Crumble Takes, ladies and gentlemen. And on today's video, I thought we should probably make an NFL video because, it's been a while. There's been a lot of stuff in the NBA going on. I've been talking about a lot of stuff NBA recently, so I think it's time to switch gears a little bit and let's talk about the NFL. Now, going into this season, there's a lot of up-and-coming teams, and there's a lot of teams with playoff droughts that I feel like could break that playoff drought potentially. But there are two teams without playoff wins. Yes, they have to win the playoff game. They don't have to just make the playoffs. They have to win the game. There are two teams that I believe that will break the drought this year, and that's what I'm going to be talking about on today's video, ladies and gentlemen. Please drop a like, subscribe, comment if y'all agree with me, comment if you guys think another team that can break their playoff drought this year, playoff win drought. Now let's get into it with the first team that I believe will break this. There is an NFL team that has not won a single playoff game in 31 years. I'm talking about the Detroit Lions. I believe that the Detroit Lions will make the playoffs and at least win a playoff game. Why, you might ask? Well, let's break it down. Last year, I predicted them to make the playoffs, and they did not. I was very upset that I was one game away from that prediction being right, but I want to look at it like this with the Detroit Lions. Let's look at the division. They have the division with the Packers, Bears, and Vikings. Here's my take on the division. The Packers are going to have Jordan Love at quarterback this year. I don't think he's going to go in there right away. I think when it's all said and done, he's going to be a pretty good quarterback, but I don't think right now, first season, he's going to go out there and win the division. I just don't believe that would happen. The Minnesota Vikings, I believe that the Vikings are going to fall off hard. Like what they were last year, like not last year, but the year before that, how they were so mid, I think they're literally going to be that this year. You can't keep winning games by 1 point, 2 points, having a negative point differential. That you can't keep doing that consistently without it biting you, and it's going to bite this year. I don't think that the Vikings are going to do anything special. And then you have the Chicago Bears. This is a little early, but I feel like the Bears could potentially be a 7th seed this year. I know they're a young team, up and coming, but Justin Fields, in my opinion, is a really good quarterback, and I think that the Bears would play second in this division, if anything. So that leaves with the Detroit Lions. I believe the Detroit Lions will win the NFC North this year. They're going to win this division because they have an amazing roster. Let's break down the Detroit Lions roster real quick. Quarterback, they have Jared Goff. He honestly was, you could maybe make a case for him being a top 10 quarterback last year. I mean, these stats by Jared Goff, they're pretty good. I mean, throwing for 4,438 yards, 29 TDs, and 7 interceptions in the year. I won't lie, that's pretty good. They have an amazing receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown. His stats last year were 1,000 yards, and 6 touchdowns, and he missed a few games too. He's super young, up and coming wide receiver for them. Jamal Williams left the team. They let him walk after leading the league in rushing touchdowns, but I think they signed David Montgomery. I personally believe that they should trade DeAndre Swift and replace him with somebody because he can't stay healthy, but it doesn't look like they're going to do that. They're going to run it with Swift and DeAndre Swift and David Montgomery, which, I mean, that's alright, but I feel like they could do a little better when trading Swift, in my opinion, because he can't stay healthy, like I said. That defense is interesting, not to say the least. They had a big hit in the draft with drafting Aiden Hutchinson. Probably should have went number 1 overall to the Jaguars, but they didn't draft him. Lions got Hutchinson. He was pretty good last year, I'm not going to lie. I gave him a B+, but now I'm looking back on it, I gave him a B, I think, but now looking back on it, he's probably an AA- range of how good that pick was. Their defense was pretty bad at the beginning of the year, but then it started up and coming a little bit. It was playing way better towards the end of the year. And let me mention some. They have the 6th pick in this year's draft. Remember that Matthew Stafford trade? Yeah. The Rams were so bad this year that now Detroit has that pick. So now they can definitely add anything to that defense that they pretty much want. Or if they want to add something to the offense, they can. But me personally, I would add something to that defense just to make it a little bit more spicy. But in conclusion, like I said, I think Detroit can win the NFC North this year, like these reasons I explained. I think currently they have the 3rd best odds to win the NFC in general, go to the Super Bowl. I don't know about all that now because, San Fran, Dallas, and Philly, they're going to have to deal with them still. But I think they can definitely win a wild card matchup, a home wild card matchup for the first time in 30+ years. Lions, don't disappoint me, please. There's a second team now, the team with the 2nd longest playoff win drought in the AFC. I believe that they can also, no, not can, will win a playoff game this year, and that team is the Miami Dolphins. This team last year pretty much almost won a playoff game versus the Buffalo Bills. That wild card matchup, a lot of us probably remember. It was very close. It came down to the wire, but Buffalo won the game and then went on to get killed by the Cincinnati. But like I've said, why do I think the Miami Dolphins are going to win a playoff game this year? Well, we'll break it down like this. They were 9-7 last year. They went on a huge bunch of streaks. You know, they went 3-0, and then 0-5, and there's a whole bunch of streaks. They ended up finishing 9-7 and go to the playoffs, right? Here's my opinion on why they're going to win. Yes, their division is stacked. If Aaron Rodgers goes to the Jets, that makes the Jets probably a contender. Buffalo's still there and still is going to be that team that's going to want to win that, still hungry for that Super Bowl. The Patriots I don't even want to comment on them. They're the most middest team ever in life. And then you have the Dolphins. Now, why do I think the Dolphins can win a playoff game? I don't know if they'll win the division, but I can certainly see them as a wild card team. Well, let's break it down. Their offense has Tua Tagovailoa, one of the best quarterbacks in this league, I'm not going to lie. Amazing QB, I love Tua. And then has Tua probably the best wide receiver duo in the league with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Two of the fastest wide receivers to be in the NFL currently. Both monsters. Tyreek Hill, you already know, had just 1,000-yard season, just was second in yards last year, I'm pretty certain. Waddle was pretty much up there too. Running backs, Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson showed out last year after they were traded for last year, and they traded Chase Edmonds away. O-line, I think, could get a little bit more help from them, but otherwise, this Miami offense, as long as Tua can stay healthy, keep in mind, I'm saying this as Tua is going to stay healthy and not going to be that one, you know, all these problems and concussions and stuff. I'm saying this as Tua is going to be 100% healthy next year, and he's going to be a good quarterback. Here's my thing. Their defense, I'm not going to lie, it was looking kind of mid last year, but they're doing things that are improving my expectations. I am not the biggest Jalen Ramsey fan in the world, but trading for Jalen Ramsey for chump change, getting him for chump change, that was one of the greatest trades I've seen the Dolphins do. They traded a top corner for chump change. Now they have Xavier Howard, even though he had a down year last year, and Jalen Ramsey. That two-corner duo, that's going to really help. We're going to see Diggs and Ramsey on each other all next year. That's just wonderful. That massively helps that secondary. And, I mean, they did trade for Bradley Chubb midseason last year. I'm not the biggest Bradley Chubb guy in the world, but I still think he can definitely be decent next year. And I think this Miami defense is going to take a huge step next year. And I do believe the Miami Dolphins will win a playoff game. I mean, the way that their offense looked last year was amazing. Tua was looking at almost an MVP conversations for the start of the year before he suffered them terrible concussions. This man, absolute baller. This Miami offense last year, one of the amazing offense, super fun offense that I've seen last year. Also, this Miami team, like I said, just an all-around amazing team. I believe that they should be able to win a playoff game next year, even with the AFC being stacked with Bengals, Chiefs, Ravens if they get Lamar back. I'm just trying to think of all AFC teams. The Jets are going to be in there if they get Rodgers. A whole bunch of teams stacked. I can't think of any more teams on my head. But yeah, you get what I mean. I believe that this team can win a playoff game matched up whoever. But before I end the video, there's one more team that I want to throw in here real quick as a little honorable mention, I should say. I know this isn't that big of a year gap between, but I do believe that the Los Angeles Chargers will also win a playoff game next year, as long as they're not like playing the Dolphins or something, because that'd be like tragic, both teams going up together. But I believe the Chargers will also win a playoff game next year. I know it's been 4 years since they won one, but let's be honest, that was a very gifted win to the Ravens. Like, what are you gonna do? You're playing a rookie Lamar Jackson, the youngest QB to play a playoff game. But the Chargers, I just want to throw them in here because I also believe that they can easily win a playoff game next year. They should have won one this year, but they like blowing 30-point leads and messing up my playoff brackets. But Chargers, Justin Herbert, amazing quarterback. They might be bringing Eckler back yet. I have no idea what's going on with that situation. All around, a good team as long as everyone can stay healthy. I want to see what their defense looks like started of the year, if they're trading people. JC Jackson fell off a cliff, and injuries have been killing that man. All of a sudden, Khalil Mack wasn't the same. Bosa missed a whole bunch of games, but he was pretty much playing well. Also want to figure out what they're going to use for their first draft pick on. But like I said, this Charger team should have won a playoff game last year, balling out. I believe that they can definitely win a playoff game. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for watching the video. If you enjoyed, smash the subscribe button, drop a like. I appreciate y'all. These other 2 videos too that I have made, I recommend y'all go check these out. Very interesting videos. I'll see y'all in the next one.